Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've ever stepped onto a yoga mat, you already know that initial feeling of stretching a really tight muscle. It's incredible, right? But today, speaking as part of the team here at Pratimoksha, Dubai's premier yoga studio, I want to take you way beyond those first few stretches. We're going to dive into the profound physical, emotional, and even neurological transformations that happen when you dedicate a full year to this practice. At our studio over in Oud Metha, we've watched hundreds of students walk through our doors, and we've seen firsthand how a consistent year-long commitment literally rewires how a person's brain works.
So let's ask the question that almost nobody asks on day one. What happens after class 20? You know the standard Dubai fitness mindset. Memberships are almost always sold in these small, bite-sized packages. 10 classes here, maybe 20 classes there. Everyone's just kind of testing the waters, keeping their commitments small until the routine proves itself. And honestly, that totally makes sense. But it also means that almost nobody buys that first package thinking about year two. And because they aren't looking ahead, they often completely miss out on the most transformative phase of the entire practice.
Our founder at Pratimoksha, Lalitha Viswanath, has been observing this exact shift in students over nearly 2 decades of teaching. She puts it perfectly, saying, what's left is quieter, slower work, and not everyone wants to keep going once the visible rewards stop showing up. In our experience, once that shiny new novelty fades, you're faced with a real choice. You can quietly drift away, or you can deepen your commitment and discover what yoga actually has to offer. As you'll see, this journey builds beautifully over time. From day 1 to month 3, you're soaking up all those exciting physical wins. By month 6, you hit what we call the quiet shift. It's this very subtle internal change. And by the time you cross that 1-year mark, well, you aren't just practicing yoga anymore. You're experiencing a fundamental shift in your identity. Let's break these distinct phases down. Section 1. The early wins, months 1 to 3. This initial phase is absolutely crucial because it validates your early struggles. When you first start, let's be real, just showing up can feel incredibly demanding. There is a stark contrast between typical DIFC office life, where we see so many professionals spending their entire week hunched over laptops, ignoring severe shoulder tension and chronic lower back pain, and those early yoga wins. Within those first 3 months, your flexibility improves. Strength suddenly shows up in places you've ignored for years. That wobbly balance, it starts to stabilize. These physical reliefs build essential trust in the practice, and they are exactly what keeps a new student coming back for class 11 and then 12. But as we often teach at Pratimoksha, those physical wins, they're actually the easy part, and they plateau fast. Once your body adjusts to the new physical demands being placed on it, that rapid rate of visible improvement just kind of slows down. And this is the exact moment where casual practitioners usually stop, right when the practice stops feeling brand new. Section 2. The 6-month shift. The crossroads. So, this is where the obvious, highly visible physical wins have leveled out, and the real internal work begins. It's crossroads time. Are you just doing a workout, or are you beginning a practice? We call this phase the quiet shift. Our students start reporting that their attention gets steadier, and not just when they're on the mat in our studio. They notice they're way less rattled in a high-stakes, tense corporate meeting. They're less thrown off by a sudden flight delay out of DXB. They become far less inclined to emotionally spiral over unexpected life events. Basically, their reactivity is softening. Section 3. The 1-year threshold. The transformation. I have to say, this is my absolute favorite milestone to witness at the studio. This is the point where maintaining your practice stops being an exercise in sheer willpower and starts becoming an integrated part of your identity. You don't have to force yourself to go to class anymore. You go because it's simply who you are. And the most incredible part? This identity shift isn't just metaphorical. It is backed by hard, measurable science. A 2025 scoping review in BMC Complementary Medicine and Therapies studied practitioners with over a year of consistent practice. They found that long-term Ashtanga practitioners showed a significant, measurable increase in cerebellar glucose metabolism during postural practice. Control groups doing ordinary exercise, they simply did not show this. This is a real, physical shift in how your brain actually operates. Because your brain is literally changing, your relationship to the practice changes too. An early practitioner is constantly asking, am I doing this right, and relying entirely on willpower to get through a general group format. But the 1-year student, they start asking, wait, why does this work the way it does? The general group format starts to feel a bit too broad for them, and they begin seeking a deeper structure. Section 4. Finding focus in Dubai. We all know that cultivating a slow, quiet, compounding practice is incredibly difficult in a city that is practically engineered for constant movement and nonstop hustle. Between the long hours working in Business Bay towers that completely eat into your evenings, the constant weekend trips that pull you out of your carefully crafted routines, and a packed social calendar along Sheikh Zayed Road that rarely slows down for anyone, staying consistent is tough. Sticking with anything for 12 consistent months is a massive achievement anywhere. But doing it in Dubai? That takes a special kind of dedication.
And that is exactly why we believe consistency itself is the real achievement. Making it to a year here without the chaotic Dubai schedule breaking your habit first says something profound about your character and your resilience. It's something that mastering a physical yoga posture alone simply cannot capture.
Section 5. The Pratimoksha Path. So you might be wondering, how do we actually support you in reaching these incredible neurological and emotional milestones? We don't just leave you to figure it out on your own. We guide your evolution through our signature programming. This is the structured path Lalitha Viswanath has expertly designed for advancing students. When you're ready to move beyond the basic physical practice, we guide you through Step 1, our Asana and Beyond signature course. Then comes Step 2, structured breath work, which we call Prana and Beyond. And finally, Step 3, deep meditation through Dhyana and Beyond.
As you advance through this, your needs naturally become highly specific. While our shared class schedule is absolutely excellent for building your initial habit and finding that sense of community, some students realize they need more. That's exactly when they transition into an individual program at Pratimoksha. This is built entirely around your own unique stage of practice, allowing us to deeply nurture those compounding neurological changes that, as we talked about, soften your emotional reactivity.
Section 6. Your Path Forward. Okay, so we've talked about the science, the timeline, and the structure. Now we want to focus on how you can take that very first vital step with us at our studio in Oud Metha. We always want to be incredibly honest with our students. A short 6-week package can certainly tell you if you enjoy the physical movements of yoga, but it cannot tell you what a year of practice does. Because by definition, most of what a year builds, that steady attention, the widened gap between a stressful trigger and your reaction, the actual changes in your brain's metabolism, all of that is completely invisible in those early weeks. So I want to leave you with this final thought to consider today. Where will you be 1 year from today? A trial session with us won't show you the full picture of who you will become, but it is exactly where that beautiful picture starts. We warmly invite you to begin that journey at Pratimoksha. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and we really look forward to seeing you on the mat.